Hey guys, quickly before we get into the video, thanks for clicking on this video, by the way, I do appreciate it. Before we get into my thoughts on, Crash Bandicoot, Wrath of Cortex, you'll see how I think about that game in a second. I do want to know from you guys in the comments what you guys thought about this game, because I know this is one of the games in the Crash Bandicoot series that, again, like I say in the video, you either like the game or you hate it, so let me know what you guys think about in the comments, if you guys have played the game, if you guys have seen footage of the game, if you are interested in checking it out for yourselves, I guess you can, and let me know then. But I want to know from you guys what you guys think of the game, so, I care about your guys' thoughts too, so let me know in the comment section what you think about Crash Bandicoot Wrath of Cortex. Hey, what's going on, guys? It's the Boss here with another video for you guys for today, and right off the bat, I just want to say today's video is sponsored by nobody. So for today's video, guys, I've been thinking about doing some more game reviews, as I mentioned in a video I did a little bit ago. So today, guys, we're going to be going over a video game from one of my favorite franchises of all time, Crash Bandicoot. Now, before we get into the details of the review and I give my thoughts and opinions, I want to say Crash Bandicoot, the Wrath of Cortex is one of those games in the series. And by one of those games, I mean it's one of those what I would call a mixed bag game, in the sense that you don't know whether to love it or you don't know whether to hate it. I know what my opinion is, and at least we have Insane. So, ladies and gentlemen, to start off this review of Crash, the Wrath of Cortex, how do I feel about this game? Well, it's a bit varied in my opinion, so we'll start off with the story of this game. The story is interesting, I suppose. The short version is Crash and his sister Coco once again go to stop Cortex and his band of minions from taking over the world with this evil, genetically altered Bandicoot named Crunch. And they have 4 masks that control the elements, and that's, again, also what they use to try and stop Crash. As far as the story goes, in my opinion, the story's alright. Not really too much of a talking point. The real criticisms that have lied in this game over the many years people have bashed it since 2001, or criticized it for, you could say as well. The story is nothing too much. I just figured I'd give you guys some context to it. Let's get into the interesting stuff in this game. This game is... okay, the gameplay-wise in this game, graphically, we'll start graphically. Graphically, the game is okay. For PS2 standards, it's pretty blocky, pretty chunky, it's pretty basic, unfortunately, in a lot of the levels. There's no other way for me to say it. The lava levels look about as basic as you can get. The minecart levels and the desert levels look, again, just about as basic as you can get. Blocks put everywhere to represent sand dunes, straight flat surfaces, nothing interesting there. The underwater levels, which we'll get into in a second, again, pretty basic. There's not really much detail there in terms of the graphics. It's about as basic as a PS2 game as you could get, and it just happens to have a Crash Bandicoot varnish I'll put on it with the characters and the story and everything else implemented into it. It's not really that amazing, in my opinion. Now, the controls and the basic stuff that's in the game, my gosh, this game sucks when it comes to the controls. The controls for Crash is otherwise fine. I think Vicarious Visions, I do agree, not Vicarious Visions, wow. Traveler's Tales did a good job with getting the momentum right with Crash, the spinning, the jumping, the dashing, everything else that he does in the game. I think, and the same thing with Coco, because you get to play as her in a few levels in this game, too. I think that the momentum works really well for those guys. You really feel like you're controlling a Bandicoot, but the vehicle segments in this game, not only are there too many of them, but most of them are pretty terrible. The jetpack doesn't control that well, even though you only use it for about 30 seconds in the game. The dragonfly part, where you have to go and bomb ships, is so slow when you're driving it. You have to wait 1 missile at a time to go and blow stuff up. It's terrible to control. The airplane levels aren't anything special. They're basically, they feel like a rip-off clone from Warp's airplane levels, so they're not that good anyway. Let's see, what else here? The Jeep, I think, was alright. The Jeep was actually not a bad addition. I don't really have too many complaints. The Jeep felt and controlled well enough, so... again, though, unfortunately, it's not one of my favorite parts of the game. As far as other vehicle segments goes, the worst one is the submarine and the underwater levels. It's just... 1 missile at a time fires. You don't have an extra hitbox with it if it gets destroyed. If you touch anything in the level, you get killed. The mines in the underwater levels are absolutely terrible when it comes to the level design. They come out of nowhere. They give you no context, no pre-warning to anything. The enemies in the various levels aren't the best either. They're not really that interesting. The various levels themselves, besides, a lot of the controls for the vehicles and stuff, again, aren't that good. I really feel like the graphics make it look as basic as possible with some of the levels. Some of them do look generally beautiful at times, like the underwater levels. They do have some detail, but other than that, the controls and the graphics and stuff, it just isn't that good with this game. It feels so mediocre. But I figured for this, I would give you guys, my overall general thoughts on the game, just to keep it short and sweet. Crash Bandicoot, with the stuff that I briefly described without, again, going into too much detail and taking up all your guys' time, it's really mediocre in a lot of areas. It does have some good stuff. I feel like a lot of the character designs and whatnot they're pretty good. But as far as, the story and everything else, it just feels so basic. And this is a game that felt really forced out. They didn't have that many great mechanics added to it. While I don't hate the game, I just think it's meh. That's really the best way to describe it. This game is meh. So overall, for a rating, this game gets a 5 out of 10 in my book. That's really all I think the game deserves, so that's where I stand with the game. But otherwise, guys, this is going to be my brief summary of my thoughts on Crash Wrath of Cortex. Hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video. If you guys did enjoy it, give it a like. Subscribe to the channel if you're new with that bell notification on to catch my future videos and live streams. And comment down below what you guys thought of this review. And let me know what you guys think about the game in the comments as well. And other than that, guys, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out, and stay awesome.